Good morning and welcome to the What's Up News Network, being broadcast from Panama City Beach, Florida, home of the world's most beautiful beaches. I am Jim Free with Jim Free Realty. If you would do me the honor and hit the subscribe button just below the picture, I would certainly appreciate it. This video will be different than regular real estate videos. I've been looking at the possibility of becoming a snowflake. After all, the vote doesn't seem to be going my way. I have a lot of questions. I'm new at writing, so I don't know really where to start. I don't know whether I should start with a Bass Pro Shop, or since I like electronics, maybe Best Buy might be the best place to loot. Heck no, I'm not going to be a snowflake or a looter. It just doesn't fit my DNA. My dad was a fighter, and if you look at the bumps and humps on his nose, you probably will recognize that he didn't win every fight. When I was a kid, there was a boy in my neighborhood that was the same age, but he was a little bit bigger and he was tough. He likes to push me around and hit me, and then I was a little afraid of him to respond to him. So one day my dad was witnessed my friend hitting me, and that night after supper, or dinner as you Yankees have taught us to say, my dad said he wanted to talk with me. He said, "Son, I don't want you to ever start a fight, but when Ray hits you again and you don't hit him in the nose, I will give you a good whipping." And I knew that when my dad said he was going to give me a good whipping, he didn't mean that I was going to enjoy it. In fact, when I knew I was going to get a whipping, I would, and had the opportunity, I'd put on an extra pair of blue jeans to lessen the sting of my dad's belt. Dad would always say, "This hurts me a lot worse than it does you." I didn't really believe that until I became a parent. I didn't receive near as many whippings as I should have, but they were all memorable occasions. I don't think I slept any that night thinking about what Ray was going to do with me when I hit him in the nose. Well, a couple of days later, Ray kicked me in the shin, and I socked him in the nose. To my surprise, he started crying and ran home. From then on, we remained friends, and we never hit each other again. This taught me not to push someone, but when they push you, sometimes you have to push back. You know, we have experienced a lot of unusual events this year, and it will probably be a long time before we forget the year 2020. The news media and the politicians like to say this is unprecedented. You know, I have to believe that God is not surprised at anything that has happened because He is on the throne. Well, what should we do? Should we curl up in a fetal position? Should we just run out and hide? Or should we riot and burn buildings and protest? I think the answer is in 2 Chronicles verse 20. King Jehoshaphat was told that a vast army was coming against him from Edom, from the other side of the Dead Sea. The Spirit of the Lord sent word to King Jehoshaphat, saying, "Listen, King Jehoshaphat, and all that live in Judah and Jerusalem, this is what the Lord said for you to do. Do not be afraid or discouraged, because this vast army, for the battle is not yours, but God's. You will not have to fight the battle. Take up your positions, stand firm, and see the deliverance the Lord will give you." Does that mean that we should do nothing? Of course not. He wants us to take up our positions, stand firm, and fear not. Do you know that fear not appears in the Bible 365 times? And you will notice that the Lord also told Jehoshaphat and the people of Judah and Jerusalem not to be discouraged. My son Jason reminded me that life is just a vapor that appears for a little while and then vanishes away. If the span on this earth is measured as a vapor compared to the life in eternity, think how short 4 years is in the grand scheme of things. We are commanded to love our neighbor as ourselves, and that means we can love them without agreeing with their politics. We must pray for the leaders of our country, national, state, and local, that they may have wisdom, integrity, protection, guidance, and awareness of God's presence. We must be aware that Satan came to steal, kill, and destroy. And just like Charlie Daniels said in his song, the devil came down to Georgia. And let me tell you, the devil's on his way back down to Georgia because there are 2 U.S. Senate seats that will be in runoffs. It is important that Christians support David Perdue and Kelly Loeffler to retain their Senate seats. The DNC and the liberals will be sending millions of dollars to try to turn these Senate seats blue. Please send donations to these candidates. If you are a Georgia resident, get out and work for them. Vote early, vote often. Dead people have a right to vote. These are quotes sometimes attributed to Mayor Daley, but attributed to someone in Chicago in politics. And we have laughed about them, but now, not just in Chicago, it's all over our nation. The sad thing is that no one trusts the results of our elections. I am a strong believer in states' rights. I also believe that when state government acts irresponsible in setting and changing laws, rules, and regulations just days before an election to favor one candidate over another in a national election, they should be held responsible for the consequences. We need some kind of uniform election laws to cover national elections, and since that is not likely to happen, perhaps we could use blockchain technology to secure our election ballots. Some state governments created an atmosphere that invited fraudulent voting. I doubt that I could walk into any state house without producing a valid ID and going through a metal detector. Yet many states allow people to vote without ID or a signature. That seems to me to be inviting corruption. Some are worried about this election means that our freedom, finances, and future. If you're a Christian, you don't have to worry about any of these things, for the Lord is in charge of all of them. Some are concerned that those government employees that have been exposed as corrupt will not be dealt with, and that is quite possible that they will escape punishment under the new administration. But a day of reckoning is coming, and God is fully aware of actions of the wicked, and unless they repent, they will soon stand before Him without excuse. Well, this is my opinion. Until we meet again, may God bless you, your family, and this great nation that we live in.